What did you do over the weekend?
Oh man, Amber. I had a really crazy adventure over the weekend.
Well, tell me all about it.
Are you sure? It's kind of a long story.
Well, we've got time. What is this really crazy adventure?
Well, it all started when the gang and I were going to Sunset Fest. We all arrived at Tyler's house right after school on Friday. I remember Scott was running late, but I don't really remember why.
Where's Scott? The rides have been running for an hour and a half already. We have to get going before they break down.
Relax, my friend. I think I see him coming down the block.
I didn't think we would have time for any rides.
Not anymore, that's for sure.
We definitely want to get a move on if we're still going to go through with our plan tonight.
Oh, it's gonna be awesome. I can't wait till we're...
All right, gang, I'm here.
Finally, let's go!
Hold on, I just need to grab one thing.
We'll meet you down the block. We were headed to the Sunset Festival.
The Sunset Festival? I was at the Sunset Festival.
You were?
Yeah, some friends and I went on Saturday night.
Well, we didn't stay long. We had much more elaborate plans for the evening. You see, Tyler was technically grounded, and his parents wouldn't let us sleep over.
But he still went to the festival with you guys?
Well, the Sunset Festival is one of the most exciting times of the year in South Whitelake. His parents wouldn't want him to miss it. However, they definitely didn't know about what we were going to do next. We still wanted to spend the night somewhere, and we would have to get there on foot. Luckily for us, the closest place of refuge was Scott's basement, though we would have to travel through the Stenton Woods, 2 or 3 miles, and then across a vast empty cornfield, which is about just as long. The journey was going to take around 3 hours, we presumed. We were well prepared, and we wanted to begin executing our plans at once.
All right, gang, let's go over the plan one more time. We start in the South Whitelake neighborhood. We travel east. Then we go through the Stenton Woods. There's a well-known entry point near the Hillcrest apartment complex. We travel through on the trails, making one little surprise stop on the way. Next, it's just a matter of traveling on the correct trail and in the correct direction. As long as we are always heading east, while hovering north ever so slightly, we should make it to Scott's basement by 9.
And once we get to the cornfield, we'll be able to see I-30 and know exactly where we are.
That's right! I almost forgot the cornfield.
The empty cornfield.
Well, we've been walking around the town doing nothing for almost 2 hours now. It's nearly 6 o'clock.
Adam's right. I'm ready to go.
Me too.
Tyler?
Let's go, gang.
We began to move away from all the town's excitement and headed towards something beyond exciting. I couldn't help but notice how cinematic everything seemed. As we walked in silence, my mind was filled with visuals, ways to represent this on a screen, almost as if I had been programmed to imagine the experience that way. Inspiration was all around me, though the only music was in my head. The rest of the weekend's plans hadn't really been drawn out yet. I began to realize I didn't know exactly how I intended to get home from Scott's house come the next day. Yet I pressed on, silently, with no worry whatsoever. Whatever or whoever was in control, it hadn't failed yet.
You guys are confident you know the way? Even in the dark?
Arjun, there's nothing to fear. I know the way by heart, like the back of my hand.
Well, if we're lost, you're gonna become awfully familiar with the back of mine.
Come on, guys, don't get too spooked just yet.
There's walking trails all through the woods, and we can always just see exactly where we are with our phones. How could we possibly get lost?
All right, he said it. It's impossible to get lost. Now remember it well.
Tyler, I have a really bad feeling that the second we go into those dark woods, you're not gonna know up from down.
Hey, you kids aren't going to those woods, are you?
No, sir. We're regular kids going for a neighborly stroll.
Don't lie to me, boy. I heard what you were talking about. I'll have you know that area is a no trespassing zone. So you had better run along the other way.
All right, we're sorry. We'll go back home.
Well, I'll be watching you.
Hey, calm down, all right? We're not doing anything.
Run!
I'm calling the police.
Oh man, do you guys think that guy was serious? Do you think he called the cops?
We can't be sure, but I can think of no better reason to press forward. We definitely can't go back. We might run into that man again.
And so, the gang and I pressed on through the woods into the great enveloping dark. With the light of day now completely submerged under the horizon, the only source for their sense of sight would be the flashlights on their cell phones.
You've really thought this through, haven't you?
Amber, it was so exciting. We were completely off the grid.
Well, what happened next?
These woods that we were in, the Stenton Woods, have you heard of them?
I have. Isn't that where that abandoned swimming pool is?
Yep, and that's exactly where we were heading.
All right, gang. There it is.
The abandoned swimming pool.
I didn't bring my swim trunks, Tyler.
It's too bad we didn't bring any spray paint.
Or did we?
What are you gonna paint?
I've got just the thing.
Is that what you're grabbing from your room right before you left?
No?
The gang? That's it? That's all you wanted to write?
Well, I was up late last night thinking it through. It's just the best way to put it. It's us. I would have done like a dragon or something, but I didn't have very much paint.
But then I realized something. Victoria! Where was Victoria? I realized I hadn't said anything to her since after school earlier that day. I had no signal on my cell phone, which means that if Victoria's been trying to text me, I haven't been getting her messages. I began to feel the reality of this situation. Not so much due to the separation from Victoria's messages, but the whole world. At that point, it was just me and the gang. Well, the gang with myself included. It was written right there on the wall.
Well, then what happened?
Then things started to get weird. Guys, my phone just died. I don't have a light anymore.
We'd better keep moving. How's everybody else's batteries?
I'm at 1%.
I'm at 24.
I've got 19.
All right, I'm sitting solid at 72%. So James, we'll start with you. Once your phone dies, if it dies, Arjun can sub in. Arjun, until then, don't use your phone.
Not a problem, Tyler.
2 phones down, 3 to go. We can make it. This way.
We continued on east through the lightless trails, our end goal being the enormous farmland which borders the forest preserve we were currently on. From there, we would be able to make out the distant highway and no longer be caught in the midst of this dark, earthly forest. We went on and on and on, and we kept asking Tyler if we were going in the right direction.
Tyler, you're sure we're going the right way, right?
We've been going in one direction the whole time. There's no way to go off course.
We went on for what felt like hours. Had we miscalculated the time it would take to conquer this leg of the journey? We didn't say much to each other, now that reality had set in. I trusted that our North Star, Tyler, was keeping us on course, and he knew that the forest was so dense that without a light, things might turn into a nightmare. Why had we gone on this spur-of-the-moment, improvised journey? Though, right as Arjun's battery died, we found something hidden farther in the woods.
What's that path lead to?
That leads to the abandoned manufacturing plant. Enormous warehouses, abandoned offices, defunct machinery. I wanted to go there tonight, but we had better just keep going.
I had never heard of this mysterious building before. I knew I would return to it someday.
Okay, that's not good. Guys, my phone's at 6%.
We've just got to keep going. All we really got to do is walk straight. We've got no time to lose.
I agree. We could even start running.
That actually sounds fun.
I'm down.
Way to go, Tyler. I bet you had all your apps open.
I bet you did too.
We obviously came underprepared.
Why did your phone die, Tyler? I thought you had, almost a full battery.
I bet it was because he kept taking pictures.
It doesn't make sense to blame anybody. We can't get upset now.
You're right, Tyler.
No, I was wrong. We're lost.
We are?
I mean, with no light, I literally have no way of knowing which way is what. I'm already confused.
Well, what are we gonna do now?
We're gonna fix it.
Fix it? How are we gonna fix this?
With this.
You had an extra flashlight this whole time.
Aren't you glad?
This is fantastic.
Why didn't you tell us about that?
I wanted it to be a surprise.
Well, let's get moving. I want to get to my basement before it gets too late to order pizza.
Should we keep running?
Arjun, I don't think we have to. Look. Here we are, the empty cornfield. Now all we have to do is walk across it.
It was incredible making that walk through the empty field. All around me, visions fantastic. The full empty sound of the middle of the night. I could see city lights and feel the rumbling of the highway, which was now our reference point for location. As the open wind hit my face, I realized that this was a free feeling. It was a life-changing moment. While looking up into the mysterious black sky, I turned my head completely up so I saw nothing but sky. I began to think perhaps this sight that was engulfing my vision could be a background, a digital image file projected onto the nothingness on which it sits. I imagined the gang and I being like little characters, moving across this seemingly endless field. Like this whole night could be a scene for some greater idea. I started to recall how strange and deliberate everything felt tonight. I was beginning to convince myself that I was right, that something bigger existed, of which I was only seeing little snippets at a time. Though, as I remember it today, it's more of just a blur. Either way, I felt this incredible feeling that things were happening in a way that was meant to be, and I was about to prove myself right. We were less than a quarter mile from Scott's basement at that point.
Well, we made it, gang. It's the final stretch.
That took forever. What time is it?
I don't think any of us can find out.
It could be any time of night.
It feels really late.
All the more reason to press on. We can charge everything up once we get to the basement.
Oh, geez, you guys. It's nearly midnight now.
Oh, how did that happen? I thought it was going to take 3 hours. It should be 9 o'clock.
I think we just got lost in the moment.
We at least got lost in the woods. Scott, is it too late to order a pizza? I'll just have to wait till morning.
And here's where it all comes full circle. After I plugged my phone in to charge, the screen booted up, and this is what I saw.
Adam, thank you so much for your kind words about the Victorian soundtrack. I hope that you continue your musical passion the same way I did when I was your age. Unfortunately, the music I've written for the Victorians is still licensed with corporate copyrights, so any means of sending it digitally would be impossible. However, What I do have is an MP3 entitled Victorian's Pilot Score Demo. This is the track I composed after meeting with the creator of the pilot and learning about the kind of music she wanted for the show. That MP3 is attached below. I hope you enjoy it and that you succeed in your own musical endeavors. Remember, your music can be whatever you want it to be, and don't give up. That is key. Keith Alexander.
My mind recoiled in awe at how this could have fallen onto my eyes. Was what I was seeing real? I stared at the MP3 file for a moment before pulling my earbuds out of my hoodie pocket and listening to it. I hadn't heard any music all day. For this to be the first thing I hear right now, all at once I understood the meaning of this night, the meaning of why all that happened to me.
That's awesome! But who's Keith Alexander?
Adam immediately realized that Amber had no idea what the Victorian soundtrack was, let alone who Keith Alexander is. What happened next is Adam had to then go back and tell the story of the Victorian soundtrack, and him sending the email to Keith Alexander. But that's really just This Is Your School Part 3, so I'm going to finish this episode off and maybe try to get us back on track.